Hello everyone and welcome to this Marvel Champions gameplay video. Today we've got a matchup between a Wolverine aggression deck I'll have and the Master Mold scenario, once again on heroic difficulty. And as usual, before we get into the deck itself, I want to take a peek at the scenario, just talk about some of the ways I've built the deck to specifically play against it. So Master Mold is the third scenario in the Mutant Genesis box. And he has an interrupt when he schemes that causes us to discard until we hit a Sentinel minion and put it in play with us. So what this generally means for this scenario is that we basically never want Master Mold to scheme. So, we often like to end the turn in alter ego mode when we can to get that extra hand size, but in this case, the one extra card in hand is usually not going to be worth an extra Sentinel minion in play who could have, most of the time 5 or 6 health, or 3 with a tough, or in the worst case scenario, 8 health plus some big attachment. So we really want to spend really all game. There might be some very unique scenarios where we go to alter ego form, but really all game in hero mode. And so that's one of the reasons I've chosen Wolverine, because Wolverine gets to heal for 2 every time he starts the player phase in hero form. And just in general, doesn't have a lot of alter ego action cards to play in his identity-specific set. And to that end, we haven't added things like, Moira or X-Gene, things that require us to be an alter ego, either to play them or activate them. And so you'll see that when we get to the deck. Going over some of the encounter cards, I guess focusing on the main scheme here, the Sentinel minions that we have will have Guard. So that'll slow us down a bit. We'll always have to get through those before we get to Master Mold. Both Main Scheme 1 and Main Scheme 2 will give us a Sentinel minion when we advance to them, so be wary of that. Our side schemes can definitely help us out in this scenario. Insert Virus Program, by defeating it we can actually deal damage to the Sentinel enemies, so that's pretty nice. And I want to highlight as well the Magneto ally, which is given to us by Main Scheme 1A. This is a really, really strong ally. I mean, comes into play for free, can attack for 3. That can really help us get through any of these Sentinel minions and win the game very quickly against Master Mold. We look at our Sentinel attachments. This one just gives some attack and stuns when it hits you, so not that bad, assuming we can kill the minion on time. Unit upgrade is a little bit worse because it gives the Sentinel retaliate, so if it takes more than 1 attack to kill it, it could take a little extra damage on the hero. And either one of these, can be brought up by the Sentinel Mark 8 when that engages us. So a couple extra activations for Master Mold here. But if we'll be in hero form all game, this is only attacks. Shields up, not too bad a one. And then we've got the recommended mod sets, Sentinels and Zero Tolerance. Just going to give us a lot of Sentinel minions. It all just kind of makes sense. Master Mold spitting out Sentinels, and that's what we've got to go up against a lot of. Doing standard 1 again for this. I think just this run through the Mutant Genesis box, I'll use standard 1 because that's what was out at the time. Although in future videos, I'll definitely mix it up with standard 3. Okay, so there's a bit about the scenario. Now we can get into the deck. So here's the deck we'll be taking on Master Mold with. It's a Wolverine aggression deck, and in particular, it's a rush strategy deck. This just makes sense for a lot of reasons, given the scenario where we're going to stay in hero form almost the whole game, so we don't really have to worry too much about keeping the main scheme under control. And Wolverine, because of his claws, giving us tremendous resource value as long as we have an attack to play every turn, pushes us in a direction to have more attack events in our deck, and that just means we're going to be playing a fast game. So I'm really only expecting this game to take maybe 3 or 4 turns. And so with that in mind, a lot of other good cards you might consider to play, like maybe a hand cannon that take multiple turns to get their value, we're not actually looking to play any of those because in an ideal case, the game doesn't go long enough to really realize all that value. So a lot more immediate value stuff, and we'll go over that here now. So for attack events, we've got Wolverine's 6 identity-specific ones, the best of which is definitely Lunging Strike. It does just the most total damage at 8, and then it will pretty much always have Overkill and Piercing from the claws, so it can be spread very efficiently. Berserker Barrage can also do 8 damage, but at the cost of some extra damage to Wolverine. So definitely looking for opportunities to play this with the amount of Sentinel minions in this scenario, but ever so slightly worse than Lunging Strike. And then from aggression, I brought in 3 Piercing Strike and 3 Clobber. Clobber has the upside of returning to hand if we play it first in the turn, so it's just kind of gives us that extra resource to throw around. Piercing Strike, since claws gives attacks piercing, it's maybe not as beneficial here as with some other heroes, but we really just want that critical mass of attack events, and we're not thrilled about the efficiency of either of these. Claws aside being 3 damage for 3 resources, or in Clobber's case sort of for 2 resources. But when the strategy is just to do as much damage as possible, we need some attack events, and swinging web kicks don't grow on trees, so we've got to use something. And they are 2-cost aggression events, so we can play the power of aggression to sort of cheat the resources a little bit there. So that is an advantage over, there's some 1-cost attacks that do a little less damage, but we'll often have the ability to pay for it with only one other card in the power of aggression card. Some 0-cost cards here, Skilled Strike, Directed Force, really feeding into that rush strategy, very efficient 2 damage per card. We'll be basic attacking a lot. All of our claws attacks have piercing, so Directed Force will pretty much always be playable on attacks, just to pile on the damage. We have a decent amount of allies, quite a bit actually. We definitely want to have at least 1 or 2 blockers during the game for Master Mold's attacks, and they also just represent a decent amount of damage. Marrow comes in, deals 2, attacks for 2. Thor can deal 9 damage over the course of being alive. Magic's a really interesting one for this scenario. Can shuffle in one of those 6 or 8 health sentinels with just a single resource. There's no really X-Men synergy cards, but I'm including a few non-X-Men like Thor that I mentioned, Valkyrie, just really efficient on damage, assuming there's a minion in play to hit with their ability. Gold Balls is a new one that's really nice, just does a ton of damage, can be 12 damage over 3 attacks. Throg, lots of minions in this scenario, comes in with the tough, can provide a nice block or 2. So just solid allies, a lot of aggression allies focused to make use of the power of aggression. So then through Audacity in there, should always look for opportunities to use these kind of free value cards when we're not too overloaded on resources, which we certainly aren't in this scenario with not that many upgrades and supports giving us resource advantage over the game. So we've got 5 doublers and Audacity for our resource card suite. And that's basically the deck. Pretty streamlined, do a lot of damage, get an ally or 2 out to make sure we can block and stay alive. But other than that, damage to kill all the minions, and then hopefully kill Master Mold by turn 3 or 4. So with that, we're ready to get into the game. So here we go, Wolverine Aggression taking on Master Mold. I get to show off my promo version Master Mold, one of the few that I got from my local game store out of those randomized booster packs. Once I finish shuffling, we'll resolve this main scheme when revealed ability to give ourselves a Sentinel minion. Already put Magneto ally in play. In practicing this beforehand, we're hoping this game will only last about 3 turns, maybe 4, if we hit a little speed bump. So the plan is to stay in hero form all game. Keep a few allies around to block with, but other than that, all of our efforts will be towards damaging Master Mold. Alright, so here we'll discard until we get a Sentinel. Yeah, that's pretty much the best hit possible. And it's just put into play, it's not revealed, so we don't even have to go get Operation Zero Tolerance. Get our opening hand. So Throg will be a nice one to keep to make sure we've got some blocking ability. We want to make sure we have something to play with the claws. So I think this lunging strike I'll definitely hang on to. Skilled strike I can hang on to. Well, probably not actually. Look for a resource doubler or the adamantium skeleton. Maybe I'll just keep 1 skilled strike. Don't want to risk a 2 resource heavy hand. Let's try pitching 3. Resource heavy hand or just bad card heavy hand. Okay, so this will work out for paying 2 for Throg. I can use Directed Force and Skilled Strike, and then use the claws to pay for the lunging strike. So here's 1, 2 for Throg. Comes in with a tough. Flip to hero form. So to be most efficient with damage, I guess I need to remember Master Mold has tough here. So in that case, I'll just have Magneto attack the Sentinel. Oh, and it after he defeats the Sentinel minion, he heals the damage, so doesn't even need to suffer damage. Then with the claws, we'll take 3 damage to do a lunging strike, which has piercing thanks to the claws. So we'll up its damage by 2. So this is a 10 damage piercing attack. And does anything bad happen when I flip to this? Nope. So then we'll do a basic attack for 2 plus 2 more, which is 4. And that will bring us to stage 3. And Throg is ready to block for us. So I do actually want to study this hand a bit, because if Throg is the difference between being able to win next turn or not, I might not block. So as is, can do another 8 damage plus either of these 3 cost cards. 8 damage plus 3 is 11, plus 1 is 12. Attack with Magneto is 15. Attack with Wolverine is 17. So Sentinels will have guard, so that could definitely foil things. No, I just need to block with Throg. So step 1. Should have been 1 on at the start of the game. Put a second 1 on. Get attacked, Throg blocks. 2 encounter cards. Okay, that's a miss for us. And that's basically another miss. So turn 2 win, that's pretty nice. Heal 2 at the start of turn. Take 3 to play the claws with piercing from 16 down to 8. Then attack for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, that definitely went our way, so you'll probably see a second game right now. All right, shuffling up for a second game here because we got about as lucky as it's possible to be in that first game, so it wasn't very interesting. We got the weakest possible Sentinel off of the main scheme reveal, and then drew 2 irrelevant encounter cards and won the game on turn 2. So let's hope this is a little more exciting. I still expect it to only last maybe 3 or 4 turns, but we got to work for it at least a little bit. All right, main scheme, reveal a Sentinel. Okay, that's certainly bigger than last time, although there's no Sentinel attachment to attach to it. Well, we got our good friend Throg again, so I think I'd like to keep that. Berserker Barrage, I think I'll keep because it gives me an attack to use the claws on. I can do 4 to this plus 4 to Master Mold. And if I hang on to Audacity, we can make sure we get the tough off first. So I'm looking at keeping these 4 for sure. And I guess so 2 pays for Throg, Barrage is free, and then, yeah, I pay 2 for Piercing Strike, which includes the Audacity, so I'll just keep everything here. 2 for Throg, comes in tough. Flip, pay 2 for Piercing Strike onto the Sentinel. We spent Audacity, so we'll do 1 to the villain. Wolverine attacks for 2. Now we'll take 2 with the claws to play Berserker Barrage. So we defeat this Sentinel. So we'll take 2 more and deal 4 to Master Mold. Then Magneto will attack Master Mold to do 3 more. And save the tough card on Throg for the villain's attack. Okay, another terrific hand. 1 threat here. Throg will defend Master Mold's attack. 2 encounter cards. Okay. So usually side schemes are irrelevant, but the hazard icon is no joke. And then targeted for elimination. So that is going to be an irrelevant card because the plan is to never go to alter ego form. Although now that I mention it, there are some sentinels that get worse when we have that attached. But I still might just ignore it. So the only way to clear this is to thwart it for 4. There's no way we have damage to kill both stages, I assume. 23 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 15. Nope. So start of the player phase will heal 2. Then, yeah, I really do just need to thwart this. Otherwise, that extra encounter card, yeah, I don't think it's worth getting that extra encounter card in order to push the damage there. So Wolverine and Magneto will thwart the relentless robots. Pay 2. So I could pay 2 for the skeleton, claws for the strike, and regenerative healing. Yeah, that looks good to me. So with the claws, I'll take 3. Strike, 8 damage. Reveal stage 3. Comes in tough with 16 health. Then heal for 4 with regenerative healing. Oh, and I get plus 4 hit points from this. Okay, taking a peek at the hand, this is a ton of damage, so most likely we'll have almost certainly have enough damage to win this turn if we don't get slowed down too much. 1 threat on the main scheme. We get attacked. I have a lot of health, so I'm just going to take it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 encounter cards. Okay, so since targeted for elimination is attached, it will attack me. I'll take the 3. And Shadow of the Past. Alright, so we can't say that we got quite as lucky this game, but, well, I mean, it's still irrelevant as far as damaging Master Mold goes. Although, this Sentinel has guard, so might need to recount here. Or actually count how much damage I can do. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11 with the claws. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Huh. Quick math there, I'm short. Let's try that again. Well, let's heal 2 before I forget. So Magneto plus Throg can kill this Sentinel. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Claws for 3 with piercing. Comes back to hand. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12, 13. Huh. Yeah, actually, I'm not seeing a way to get the win here. So, given that, do I bother dealing with Omega Red? Omega Red's going to represent 2 damage, plus 1 damage to each character I control. which I can definitely tolerate that. So I want to... It's also very easy to clear everything and just hope to win next turn. I just thwart, track by scent, draw 2 more cards, have enough to play Jubilee. We'll try this with keeping Omega Red alive. So Throg attacks for 2. Throg will block the attack in the villain phase, so don't need to worry about being killed by Omega Red's interrupt. Magneto finishes this, heals the consequential damage that he would take. Use the claws to take 2 to pay for Clobber with Piercing. Comes back to hand. Let's hang on to the Piercing Strike for next turn. Let's pay 2 for Jubilee. Didn't expect to use this much room, so I zoomed in my camera for this match. So I'll pick Master Mold when Jubilee enters. So here is a 3 damage attack from Jubilee, plus a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage. Hang on to this. And see what happens. Whoops, didn't need to draw that many cards. Put 2 on the main scheme because of the acceleration icon. Master Mold attacks. Well, I guess Jubilee. I'll block with... Yeah, well, I'll block. One of them will block. No, sorry, it doesn't matter. Jubilee block. Then Omega Red attacks as an interrupt. We deal 1 damage to each character. And then the attack does 2. Oh, this was definitely riskier. So a gang up would actually kill me. So, whoops. Here's 2 cards. No Sentinel minions, so this is surged. There's a Sentinel. Comes in tough and with an energy barrier. Advance, the villain schemes. So when he schemes, we discard until we hit a Sentinel. There we go, and it is just put into play, not revealed. And then we advance the main scheme. We do it again. There we go. And now we do need to fight through these minions, but we have Clobber and a Piercing Strike in hand, so we should be good to go. We heal for 2 at the start of turn. I'll take 2 to Clobber one of these. We'll do a regular piercing attack for 3 here. Do a magneto attack here. And finish it off with a clobber to the villain. Well, I think it was definitely a mistake there at the end not to just deal with Omega Red. I hadn't completely followed through with the math on Wolverine's health. So, you know, even though the chance of drawing the 1 gang up in the deck is relatively low, it's more than 0, which I think we were still in really good position if I would have had just cleaned this up instead of piling on the damage to Master Mold. So there you have it, 2 for 2. I think that's probably enough. I don't think I need to show a game 3. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and stick around for the next one.